Hi, Kelvin. So we can see you now. Great. Okay, I think maybe our chairman. So this is a joined meeting between the two committees, the Transport, Mining, Industrialization, and Orbital Debris and NEOS Committee, and the Space Habitats Committee. So we have both the chairs, Werrner, Grandl, and Jerryston, and maybe they have an idea of the agenda for today, so we can try to give a kind of
well, would the other team like to go first?
If you want, you can go first, you can start, but I can also start with my agenda. I have prepared something, but anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, okay, thank you. Yes, I am the chair of the committee in short terms, space industrialization and transportation and mining, etc. And I have prepared some small pages for you to give you a short overview of my work in progress in the last weeks. So if you allow, I will share the screen and I can explain it to you.
Okay, just a moment. So this is our first point, but first of all, we will have a look at our open action items, so we can see if some of them can be closed or not, and if not, we can maybe delay, postpone the deadline. So action items is number one. Then we will have Werrner with an overview of his work in progress on I think one of the papers we are working. And yes, we could also have a look at the documents, the papers that we are going to work in 2024, papers for 2024. Overview of the work in progress of Werrner. And Jerry, you want to add your points maybe to the agenda?
I do, like Werrner, also have an update on what I've been working on just literally in the last few days. So I'll tell you about that later.
Okay, with the proposal.
If we go through the open actions, that would be good. Okay,
let's see. I think maybe you want to say something about your proposals for the IAC, for the Island Zero and the other initiatives that are going on. Okay.
Yes.
So Jerry
as well
on Island Zero. Good. So we have four points in our agenda. Action items, the papers of 2024, the overview of the work in progress by Werrner, and Jerry on Island Zero initiatives. So I am posting now these 4 points in the chat, so we can use it also for the minutes of meeting. Okay, so let's first of all take a look at the action items. So I will share my screen now. Okay, let's choose the committees. So clear all and space habitats. You are seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. TMI and ODNEOS. Okay, so let's filter. Now, the status clear and only open, ongoing, hotly. Okay. No, there are too many committees. Just a moment. Something didn't work. So space habitats, yes. TMI ODNEOS. Okay, okay. So, well, we're lucky, not too many. So, first of all, look for partnership university companies. Okay, this is a let me say an always open thing. We can prolong and launch it to 2024. Marie-Louise wanted to prepare a text on space debris, and we can maybe give her some more time. Some more time, let's say 30th of April, just to be. Space Habitats Committee, Werrner and Jerry, to prepare an abstract for the September 2024 conference. We have a conference. It was due the 31 of January, so a few days ago. We can elongate it to the 29th of February. And I had to invite IAF Space Habitats Committee members to our next meeting. That should be the meeting of today. So this is clearly broken by me. That's so we can think about our next meeting. That will be, let me have a look. That will be in June. No, yes, 11th of June. So let's try to keep this, let's say 30th of April. So the invitation should be done early if we want somebody to join. Okay. Then Kaja wanted to prepare a note about the virtual reality project to be spread on the SRI channels, and it was due for June. Well, Kaja is here. If you are you still willing to prepare this thing, so we can
yes,
we can put
yes.
a new deadline if you tell me when could be ready.
Yeah, so we've received pilot seed funding for a pilot study in September. So we were conducting that and got 2 PhD scholarships. So we have now 2 students working on a project, and these students might need some help potentially with members of the committees, maybe to conduct some interviews with experts. I'll also present I'm not sure how much this is connected with there is another list for the presentations that Sabina is doing. I'm not sure whether she's doing that on through Itacus or through Space Renaissance, the presentations.
You want to see what we're working on?
Sabina, yeah, no, because I was already talking to Sabina that she put me to present the project in June. I can tell you the date. I'm not sure if you two are connected, but I think I think this is true.
You want to keep,
Renaissance.
you want to keep June, end of June, 24, of course. 23 is gone.
Yeah, of course. It's just we are actually applying for larger grants, and also our students are working in progress. So I'm not sure exactly what would be good from your side. Is that some sort of presentation? Because I already said to Sabina, I confirmed the date.
Well, yes, it could be interesting to have both a written summary of the project that you are doing, and maybe also a presentation. We could schedule a webinar in the Academy webinar series, if you like. So you can give a presentation of your project, and even maybe if you will have some students with you, you can make them to talk about the project and what they are doing, and this kind of things could be nice.
So what Sabina is doing, is this under Space Renaissance?
You
Or
mean
is
Sabine Heinz? You mean? Yes. She is the conductor of the webinar series of the Space Renaissance Academy. We have two webinars per month.
Yeah, I tried to find in my calendar. I think she put me in July or June somewhere.
Okay, let's also see the. Just a moment. We can see the calendar of the webinars.
That would be good. I'm trying to find.
I believe the first dates available are in the second semester. The webinars to come.
Yeah.
They're coming. Okay. So, okay, the last booked date is the 3rd of June. So we
I think
we could think
me
about
was after that one.
Yeah, the 1st July available date.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 1st July available date. Let me take a note, because
And I'll double check and let you know what we talked with Sabina. Because my PhD student will also be presenting.
Yeah, okay, but our webinars are the 1st and the 3rd Monday of each month. So if we are talking about July.
Oh, I have it. Yeah, I found it. It's at 8. So for you, it's going to be 17th of June, right?
Let me check the calendar.
17th of June. That will be virtual reality and art, because the PhD student is art.
July.
June.
The first available date is the 1st of July. That is a Monday. And the next one is the 15th of July.
What about 18th of June?
No, 18th of July. June is all booked.
Okay,
I'm sorry. No, you're right. It's not all booked. I'm sorry. I was wrong. June only the 3 is booked. Let me see what is the 3rd Monday. The 3 of June and the 17th of June could be. Do you like
Yeah, so
it?
she already booked me for 17th of June.
Okay. I'm not sure if somebody else was giving to give us a confirmation of that, but yeah, we can see it. By the
Okay,
way.
maybe we can check with Sabina. That's all good. Yeah.
Okay, if it will not be possible, but we can see it right now. Just a moment, because we have an internal calendar with the non-confirmed dates. Okay. Ah, you were already booked for the 17th.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
You can
Maybe
confirm.
Sabine.
Yeah, she did.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, fine,
You can confirm me. Yeah, thank you.
perfect.
The
so-
paper will be, the name will be confirmed. Yeah. When do you need the title?
We need a title.
When do you need the title?
We need a title of your lecture.
Until what time?
So, okay, never mind. If you don't have it now, you can email it in the next days or weeks. No rush.
Okay, we'll do that. Cool. Thank you.
I also will need an abstract and your bio, a short bio of you. In order
Okay, we'll do that. Yep.
Good.
Thank you.
So today is the 6th. Then back to our action items. So, okay, you will prepare also the written summary and for the 30th of June. That's fine. Then I think collecting materials and concepts for papers for IAC 2024 Milano. I think this is done. Now we will check what we have in our agenda. Then our reusable rockets was done yesterday, the webinar by Alberto. And to contact NSS and IAF people to participate to the virtual conference. Which virtual conference? It was not detailed here, therefore I don't know what we are talking about. But NSS, it will be the ISDC, because we are discussing with NSS to participate to the ISDC in Los Angeles end of May. But I think this one referred to a past conference, so we can.
Yeah. Adriano, the NSS is having a conference this year, but it is only an in-person event. Because I asked them
Yes.
about submitting an abstract, and I'd actually have to be in Los Angeles, and which I can't.
Yes, it is in Los Angeles,
And
right?
considering it's supposed to be an international event, but it's never been held outside of the United States. That's
No, it's
the
always
US regards itself.
the most time they do it in Los Angeles, and this
Yeah.
year will be in Los Angeles too. So we are discussing to hold a session on the 18 SDG over there. Therefore, I think it will be a 2 hours track, and some of us will be talking there for the 18 SDG. Yes, but nothing is decided yet. Yeah, I think I have to talk with them in these days in order to understand what they have in mind. Then, okay, we had Werrner to check the reception of the abstract on Island Zero project by either representative. I don't know, maybe Jerry, you did something together with Werrner about that?
Not together with him. I did ask who might be useful to send a summary to.
Yeah. And did you find someone?
I had a suggestion, but he actually put me on to someone else. And I did send it in, but didn't get anything back, unfortunately. I suppose I ought to follow that up.
Okay, so let's say let's keep on checking not only Bernard but also yeah, I think we were thinking about talking with young Werrner too, maybe, and so we
No,
can.
I contacted him, but he's not involved really.
No, of course he is not anymore the
No,
director.
but he suggested someone that I write to, who I did.
Okay, so let's see that this thing is on its road somehow, so we don't
I
need.
mean, if you want to mark it as in progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So we closed the first point, and we can proceed with the papers overview. Let me check the papers overview. Okay, work in progress. So we have SRI paper on a master plan for space settlement. This was the deadline for the abstract, of course, and the paper should be done for the 30 September 2024, because okay, maybe this is one of the papers we are presented to the IAC. Then Werrner will say what.
Yeah, I would say Werrner has done the most work on this. He's actually produced something, and I've just given some comments on it to him.
Okay, so maybe Werrner will say something about that during the next point when
Yes, I think we can discuss it after my short talk, which I will do now.
Good. Then, okay, we want to prepare a position paper on artificial intelligence and robotic space exploration. And we wanted to have an abstract for the 15th, so next week. Okay. So and I am involved in this together with Amelie. So I think it would be better to take an action item for these. Otherwise, it will be difficult to. Allora. Okay, I have in order to. When we want to add action items, we have to see everything. Otherwise, I cannot join the correct row. 5, 3, 6. Abstract. And this is the TMI. Yes, TMI. So it was next week. Let me take some more days for the 25 of February. Okay, open. Good. Back to plan. Okay, Then we also want an SRI position paper on the Space 18 SDG, and this was for me and Alfred. Me and Alfred and Zadua. Okay, and it was due for the 31. The abstract was for the 31 2024, and 30 of May. The paper. So this is to be accelerated. Okay, back to the action items. But this, okay, the Space 18 SDG is a general point, and not only related to our committees, even if it is, of course, very much linked to industrialization and this kind of topics. But however, it is also linked to the space law. Yes, orbital debris for sure. Okay, let's see that we take it. And the abstract, we will try to make it for the, even because, yeah, the abstract is not difficult because we have a lot of material already on the 18 SDG. Good. Then in SRI paper on an industrial planting Lagrangian point, and this is Werrner is working on that, and I think he will say something in the.
Yes, I have already made it, especially the abstract, and I have sent the abstract on the 5th of January to the commission of the IIC.
Okay, great.
I think
the last one. Sorry.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
abstract is already ready.
Fine, excellent. Then we have a SRI position paper on space law, and this will be an elaboration because we have maybe we have finalized it today. I hope so. Our big position paper on the issues, the key critical issues toward 2030. This is a document of about 40 pages. And we had a very, very deep discussion about space law and ethics and philosophy and yeah, too many things. But I think at the end we reached a common and agreed position. But there was the necessity, the need to extend this work and making only a space law position paper. So we will have we had to prepare an abstract, West Fairs, and but this is for the space law committee. Therefore, it doesn't pertain strictly to our committee today. However, okay, I think it would be a good thing to remind preparation of this abstract.
I've got some material on space law that I can send you. I don't know who WF is, but I know.
West Fairs is the chair of our space law committee.
Okay. I don't have his email. I'll just send it to you, Adriano.
Okay, never mind. Yes, you can do like that.
Okay.
And yes, so we put together this thing. it emerged another paper that will be prepared by the Space Philosophy Committee about space ethics, space philosophy and space ethics. So the very, very key concepts about the space Renaissance philosophy and the ethic and the space ethics. So it is to be added to this list of work in progress. So let me take a note on that. Okay. Bene, I think we are done even with the overview of the papers. Is there anything else that I'm not covering, maybe? Any ideas for papers? Okay. Yes, then in next week in the board meeting, we will also talk about all the papers for the IAC that are in preparation also by other members. So I think I can stop sharing and give the floor to Werrner.
Thank you very much. I tried to give the screen. More. Is the wrong screen. Yeah, this is the real screen. So I hope you can see the screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I have just made a few small pages. Space transportation, mining industry, space debris and NEOS. Those are our two committees for today. And I have tried to make a preliminary design of an industrial plant in a Lagrange point of the Earth-Moon system. So, secondly, this is a sheet of paper some of you already know. Space transport, mining and industry, orbital debris, and NEOS utilization. There are three resource possibilities for such an industry. On the one hand, space debris from Earth orbit, then lunar mining, and then, of course, at least also the mining of asteroids, especially of near-Earth objects. You see here the material flow and the spaceships, the space debris from Earth orbit may be transported by cislunar space tugs, which have to be, of course, developed in the next years. The material flow of the moon may, on the one hand, be done by electromagnetic mass drivers. Such a mass driver was initially designed by Gerald K. O'Neill in the 1970s. And from the asteroids, I think we have developed spaceships to ship subcargo and some minerals to a Lagrange industrial plant. Why I just have written Lagrange industrial plant, because it is not clear yet whether such an industrial plant will be at first be located at L4, at L5, or maybe even at L1. Now, at such a Lagrange industrial plant, there would be the processing of lunar and asteroid material, then collecting and processing orbital debris. Of course, the goal is extracting iron, aluminium, and so on, and other materials for human industry in space and also on Earth in the future. And then, of course, the production of material to build stations and space habitats in large scale in the future. What is also important is the extraction of O2, of hydrogen, of helium-3, which may be used one day for nuclear fusion, and which is very important in the near future is the production of fuel. Okay, next one. So, this is my design of a so-called Lagrange industrial plant. From the left to the right, first of all, a rotating space station for a crew of approximately 40 astronauts, workers, engineers, and so on, is located there. It rotates around this axis, and then around the along the main axis, there is a central structure with a communication tube is made, which is shown in silver and an orange color, and then modular manufacturing units, which you can see in green there, are applied. And each module, this is my idea and my proposal, each module can be rented or bought by a private company. Of course, a number of modules. And what is also important, that this industrial plant can be enlarged along its central axis. So you can enlarge it, enlarge it until it has maybe 7 kilometers or something else like this. Now I try to enlarge the next picture. Now that this was okay. Now you see an elevation and a section. You see once again the rotating habitat for the crew, and then the manufacturing plants, which are also made modular and are mounted along the main axis. There you can see a space tug with the cargo container, which can be applied and can be, of course, docked to each of these.
Could you please zoom in a little bit?
Yes.
Can you zoom?
I hope so. Wait a minute.
On the right, on the right.
So
Click on the plus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fantastic.
So you can see it there. So I have zoomed in. So you can once again see the rotating habitat of the crew. It has a rotating diameter of approximately 80 meters, and then this is the main axis, this is the main construction axis, and here are these manufacturing units are applied. Each unit has a length of approximately 45 meters. And as you see in the section, these units are 36 meters in height and 24 meters in depth. So I think these are very big halls where every investor can make what he intends to make in these industrial plants. Yes, now, so this is just where I am now. I will, of course, make in the next weeks some very detailed sketches and very and some other paintings, of course. Now, I've added a Space Renaissance International Master Plan for the 21st century. I make it now a smaller one. So it ranges from now until the year 2100. You see three columns, and the left column is what we think can be made in Earth orbit, on the Moon, or the lunar orbit, of course, and in the Lagrangian points L4, L5. So I have started with the so-called islet 0 of Cherry. Then, of course, my design of artificial gravity orbitals. The station can be maybe located in lunar orbit or also in Earth orbit. And then we can make a lunar base from, I think, from the year 2040 on. Of course, then starts lunar mining, regolith processing, and of course the fuel production. What is essential of the Moon is a helium-3 extraction for nuclear fusion. Now, on the Moon, we can also build the so-called electromagnetic lunar mass driver of Gerald O'Neill, and then material is brought to the industrial plants in L5 and L4, which are processing material, and then maybe in the last decade of our century, Gerald O'Neill's Island 1 can be started to be constructed. What is necessary for this scheme is, of course, we have to use reusable SpaceX launchers. We have, or we may use Skylon space shuttles, and we have, of course, to use space tugs for shuttle transport.
The ULA project.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if we have helium-3 extraction for nuclear fusion, it may be sometimes we come to nuclear fusion rocket engines. It is the so-called. I don't know his name. He was an engineer who has developed such a project in the 1960s and 70s. And if we can make nuclear fusion engines working, we can make near orbit modifications with nuclear space duct, and then mining and excavating layers near the Earth is possible. And of course, we can give the industrial plants a material of the asteroids, and of course also to build Gerald O'Neill's Island 1. Okay, what is also I think it's also a goal to make an Archean base at the end of the century. Yes, so this is in short words what I'm working on now. Thank you.
Excellent. Very, very nice work. Yes, I think we should take into account that just the thing that came to my mind now, that during this century, maybe new propulsion systems could be invented. I remember in a webinar about maybe 1.5 years during the preparation of our Congress, or Congress of 2021, Isaac Arthur was talking about an aneutronic engine that will increase the speed, the travel, the velocity for travel in the solar system. Something like the Epstein engine of the Expanse that make possible to travel from Earth to Jupiter in a few weeks. Yes, or whoever. Maybe some new propulsion system will be invented. I think also they are talking about the warp drive, about.
No, but Adriano, in general, we can say that the nuclear propulsion, and there are several kinds of nuclear propulsion. So for sure it will be developed in the next decades, because the ideas are already there. There are several possible solutions for nuclear propulsion in space, and for sure they will be pursued in the next decades.
Yeah. Good. So yeah.
I have,
Werrner, you are making an excellent work, and let's go ahead. And I'm sorry that I was not very supportive in this work so far, because the position paper kept most of my time, so it was very difficult for me to run the Space Renaissance. That is something that I have to do every day, and to contribute to the position paper. Now, maybe we are at the end of this big work, and we can take care of the other things. Good. So
I have, sorry, I have a small question.
Yes.
Please.
Okay, about the timeline of asteroid mining. On the paper, it's like going to be a little bit later, so to say, right? And I was just remembering that during the Obama administration, for a while, there was this plan to bring an asteroid into Earth's orbit to get on with mining at a much faster rate. and much sooner. And I've seen in a science fiction TV show, For All Mankind, that that idea is also explored. And I was just wondering, wouldn't it be possible to consider the near, instead of 2090, perhaps considering something potentially sooner? And I'm really curious about what's the status of all those plans that were apparently abandoned,
Yes.
either permanently or temporarily. And it just seems that, well, if you've seen that TV show, For All Mankind, you can see there was already quite a thought along those lines, and I just would like to have any feedback about that from anyone, if possible. Thank you.
If you have high masses of an asteroid, you need, of course, advanced propulsion systems like nuclear fusion engines. If you have small asteroids, maybe you can do it with some conventional methods.
Okay, all right. Perhaps a smaller asteroid would not be that meaningful in terms of mining. Still, I think it's something that is worth having a second look, because apparently there's some sort of asteroid in the ground, so to say, that really is keen on bringing an asteroid closer so it can be mined more easily. I think Jerry is going to.
Yeah, NASA had the ARM project, the Asteroid Redirect Mission, which was initially announced as an unmanned craft that would go out and would bring back into orbit around the Earth, perhaps at lunar distance for safety, a 10-meter asteroid. Then it got changed, it got downgraded, and it was going to bring back a much smaller asteroid. And then it got downgraded again, and it was going to land on an asteroid and pick up 2 rocks and bring them back before it got cancelled entirely. Now, I actually said that if they did the main thing and brought back a 10-meter asteroid, you could use that as the core segment for Island Zero. And that means you would have people on site who would be able to carry out not 2 EVAs, which was NASA's original plan, but they'd be able to work on it for months and months. They'd be able to determine what it's made of in detail. They'd be able to take some of that material, and so they'd be able to practice mining techniques, and they'd be able to break it down and practice processing that material into extracting elements from it, and then build things out of those. But it's just not going to happen at all. And it's really a huge disappointment, because this is the sort of thing that NASA used to do. They would come up with interesting and exciting plans, and now they just seem to want to send up a big rocket every 2 or 3 years, and that's no way to get anywhere. So it would have been very, very useful, but unfortunately,
Well, there are many countries in the world that
another proposal to be made, probably not for another few years.
Mm-hmm. Well, nevertheless, I think it's worth some thought. But I was not aware of that downgrading. Doesn't surprise me, actually, and and even the way it's treated, though, in the whole seems to be a very divisive issue. You know, that TV show, it becomes extremely divisive anyhow, if you had an opportunity to take a look at the political implications. But anyhow, and the costs and everything. Anyhow, so that's just, but thank you for now on.
Okay.
Yeah, Dennis is in the chat. Dennis is mentioning the look up, you know, the movie when an asteroid was coming, and I think it's a recent movie from.
Oh yeah. It's very scary. There is even that novel by Stephen Baxter, Titan, where China tries to bring an asteroid closer, and then they lose control, and then it's the end of the world. So,
Yes.
I mean, it's debatable whether it's a good idea. Clearly, potentially risky.
As I said, this was intended to be brought back, probably not much closer than the moon for safety. So, Dennis, you say it needs to be small enough. This was only going to be 10 meters at the most. So,
well, you know, there's orbital mechanics, and then there's the primitive fears of the population and the temptation.
You can imagine what the general public will be told about this. You know, big scary headlines when completely unnecessary.
Yeah, the flat earthers would have a field day, all those things. Nevertheless, if you do take a look at that TV show For All Mankind,
yes,
I think it's actually quite interesting, the issues it brings up. But anyhow.
Okay.
Let me make a general consideration. I think since we are working on two different papers, one is the hypothesis of a Lagrange point industrial plant, and the other one is the master plan for this century. I think they should be kept separated, because the master plan, we can try to understand which technologies could be ready in few years, and which technologies need more time, and so on. Trying to be, let me say, open, have an open view, because we cannot have a crystal ball to say this technology will be available. But it seems to me that maybe the asteroid mining technology could be ready before the end of the century. Maybe in the next 2 or 3 decades, something could be made. And while for the industrial plant, that I think we can try to make a more, let me say, project design activity. No, saying we could make that. Why not? It could be made also in other ways, but we can choose something that for us is logical and feasible and reasonable. Yes. So just as an indication how to go ahead.
And
yes.
Werner, can I ask you some questions about the industrial plant? Obviously, it's intended to rotate, but all the manufacturing.
No, what I understood, I don't know, Werner, if I am right, only the habitat module will rotate.
Okay.
Yes, only the habitat is rotating.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Will not be rotating, because if we remember. If we remember this O'Neill book, the Bible, Colonies in Space, yes, he says that he made a comparison between, I think, an electrical plant, electric power generation plant, to be done on Earth and to be done in space. He says that while on Earth we have to work on a surface dimension, and we are subject to gravity. So in space we can work in a very much more compact mode, because we don't have gravity, we don't have attrition between mechanical gears and devices. Therefore, there are very advantages to work in zero gravity with industrial constructions in general.
Yeah.
You know? And
no,
so
that's
I think it is correct that the plant will be steady and the habitat will rotate.
Yes.
And my personal suggestion is to make the habitat a little bit larger than 80 meters, because we don't want to rotate too quickly. No, we prefer to because I think it's not a problem, no, to make it bigger, the rotation part, because it is just enough to take island 0 and make it larger.
Because Werner, what was
The concept is island 0, right, Jerry?
yes,
Modules connected and
Werner,
rotated.
for your unit, what would be the RPM of the habitat section?
I think about 3.4 rounds per minute.
Okay, that wouldn't give a very high G level, even at the very outer section.
No, but it is just for a working crew and not for a very long lifetime.
Yeah, okay.
The working crew and for a month as well.
So about 3.5 RPM.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, sorry, then Irving, I give you the floor now, but just another question to Werner. I think you made the proper calculation between round PM and round per minute and G value and the Coriolis effect and all this kind of. So my suggestion is to making maybe 3 times larger, or just to say, but I'm speaking.
We can make, of course, the radius up to 19 meters, as Jerry Stone is proposing on his design of Island 0. Of course, this is possible, of course.
Because at 3.5 RPM, 25 meters from the center axis, you'll only have 1/3 of a gravity. And at 50 meters, you'd have about 0.7.
Okay.
Which
yes, I think, Jerry, you already made more calculations about that,
Yeah.
no? So we have to wait. Okay.
that's all right.
Irving, please.
Yes, I'm concerned that we're dealing with lots of different concepts and commingling them. One is we started out with Adriano's question of considering gravity with and Jerry's addition of many revolutions, but then there's also the issue of the point that I'm trying to make is that we have a number of different concepts that are not all compatible. For example, we started with the question of rotation, speed, and so forth, and that has certain applications. For example, with habitats and so forth. But then we also have the ideas, maybe more scientific, where we're dealing with zero gravity. And some of those concepts can be either excuse me.
Take your time. Never mind.
Yeah, some
We're not paying for the time.
the for you held up the book, Adriano. I believe that was for solar power, which it was comparing apples and oranges to Stone's concept of space and the comparison of Earth-based power, which I think is more an A-B concept, but some may be rotational and some may be zero G. And when they're rotational, Jerry's question of the rotation speed and distance depend upon which purpose you're going to use this for, and they're different purposes, but have different aspects, whether it be rotational or zero G.
If I understand your comment, I think there are several uses of the rotation. There can one is to allow the personnel, human personnel, to live and rest and in a normal gravity context, or almost.
Yes.
But we can also have other uses for rotation, because there are some processes that can be dealt better in a gravity environment than on zero G. For instance, if we think about 3D printing, 3D printing needs gravity. It is very, very tricky to make 3D printing in zero gravity.
It's possible for both.
So it could be that maybe other modules should be rotating, not only the habitats ones. So
Right.
Further idea for Werrner in the development implementation of the project.
Making glass panels can be done on Earth because we make float glass, and the glass itself is floated on a layer of molten tin, so that needs gravity.
Yeah. Other process, I don't know, maybe medical production of some medical products could need gravity.
Whereas things like growing crystals, you want that to be done when they're worthless.
If I might, I wrote, what about the wake shield facility? And I just wanted to bring that in also as an element, because the high quality vacuum is of particular interest for the electronics industry. And the moon and the large space station with a lot of factories, there are studies about the lunar dust that's expected to be kicked up by human activity on the moon. And not that it will be lunar smog, but the quality of the vacuum on the moon with extensive human activities will gradually lower. And so in the 90s, quite a while ago, the space shuttle with a robotic arm deployed and retrieved the wake shield facility. And at that time, there was real big money from electronics industry, but they couldn't care less about microgravity. They wanted the high quality of vacuum, but a vacuum that is far away, say a Lagrangian point. So I would imagine perhaps there's also room besides microgravity for incredible amounts of incredibly high quality vacuum. That would be interesting for manufacturing, and that kind of tends to be sort of not considered as often, I think. But as just you can check out Wake Shield facility, and then it's just a contribution. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that the main point was that there were different attributes of some of these configurations that might be 0G or might be a certain gravity factor.
Okay. Yeah, it comes to my mind now that during the last weeks another element came up in the discussion, the element of the protection from radiation. And yes, we already thought that water or other materials are necessary to protect from radiations. And I learned, because I was not aware of that even a small, relatively small quantity of air can protect. As we are protected on Earth's surface, we are protected from radiation by the Earth, by the atmosphere. But on Earth, of course, we have some tanks of kilometers of atmosphere over us. In a space habitat, if we think in a big on a cylinder or torus, we can have maybe some 10 or 20 kilometers of air between us and the space in a big sphere, for instance, no, or something like that. That will not be the case in the habitat, in the rotating habitats provided in this concept for an industrial plant or an island zero also, because island zero is made by relatively small modules, so we cannot think that we can use air as a protection wall, you know. But
I'll have an update on that, Adriano, actually.
Yes.
Werner, we've discussed various things about this unit. Had you come up with any ideas of what they might actually produce there? It's no, it isn't vital. Just being able to have the facility is what we're really looking at the moment.
To produce what?
No, that's what I'm asking. What do you think they would produce?
I have an answer.
In the plants, you mean? In the plants?
Yeah. Werner's answering.
Okay. Yes, it's part of the requirements of that. We have to write. First of all, we have to write a requirements document for the industrial plant.
Yeah.
Making hypotheses, what can be produced, what can be marketed, and where. Back to Earth or to other space.
Yeah, I'm just asking Werner if he already had any ideas.
You have some.
Yeah.
You have some
Yeah.
ideas of science that is searching for technology to apply, and you have other situations where you have the technology looking for a science or capability to provide.
I think if you want to build a structure like the so-called Island 1 of Gerald K. O'Neill, you have to apply several meters of lunar material as a shielding outside. And so these are huge masses which are required.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking about your design for a manufacturing facility. Did you have any ideas as to what they would actually make?
In my opinion, not in detail yet, but it will, of course, depend on what material is shipped from the moon and from the asteroids. But I think mostly it will be metals like aluminium, iron, and so on like this, and also water, of course.
Yes.
There's a paper by Kraft Eric about lunar industrialization that's very detailed about the materials, raw materials that can be extracted from the moon,
Yeah.
the production and the products that can be developed. Of
Okay.
course, Kraft Eric is talking about the moon, but I think a similar thought can be made for Lagrangian plant.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry to bring an input regarding what might be manufactured on those industrial facilities. Well, there's gallium arsenide crystals. A long time ago, back in 1987, when I was at MIT during the 2-week inaugural session of International Space University, there was a lecture about gallium arsenide crystals manufactured in space, by the way. I remember. And so focusing on this area of the vacuum, there's thin films and the products to be created would be things that would enable artificial retinas made from tiny ceramic detectors. And finally, on Earth's orbit, we have 10 to the minus 8 Tor from Torricelli. And in theory, one should be able to reach 10 to the minus 14, which is something else altogether. So for a big industrial company, they would say, what do you have that we don't have already in our labs? So there would be stuff along those lines, because everything else, but anyhow, just thin. You can read more about the Wake Shield facility. It was a pity it didn't go further than it did until now. But anyhow, I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, if I understood well, the design that Werrner is doing is oriented to a plant processing raw materials. So I think one of the issues we should try to discuss and to understand is there will be different plants for raw materials processing and for manufacturing production. Or would it be convenient to have a combined plant that where both raw materials are processed and manufacturing processes are going on? I think a trade-off should be made between these different requirements.
Yes, in my opinion, we should found a thing like a market, some kind of a free market in space, and every stakeholder and every investor could buy or could rent such a unit or more of one units, and maybe could produce whatever he wants.
So it should be a multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose, yeah.
Maybe modular that can be combined at different production processes.
Yes.
But basically, there's two actions to be taken. One is to take the raw material and extract the aluminium, the silicon, the titanium, and everything else from it. And the other half of it is using that material to manufacture
Yes.
other things.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, good. Oh, well, just one other thing, Werner. My first question about it rotating was that I assumed it would rotate simply because of the design. Having the three sections going out looked as though they were designed to rotate. So if that section is not going to rotate, then can I ask, why didn't you make it more 3D and take up a more general volume?
I have made a drawing when I made my concept for my so-called Argos project, and there is a so-called I don't know what its name. It was called a rotor joint, and I have made a detailed construction of this rotor joint. It is some kind of magnetic sealing. So one part is able of rotating, and the other one is rotating in the opposite side. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
One more question. What kind of materials were you thinking about to construct the modules of the plant?
The modules of the plant, of course, are mainly constructed of aluminium.
Aluminium. Okay.
Aluminium.
Okay.
And silicate, of course. Silicate, of course, also.
And these components should be taken there from Earth.
Mainly, they should be in the beginning from Earth, and afterwards, step by step, I think
Produced.
be taken from the moon then.
Okay, produced on the moon or even in the plant, in the
Yes.
first section of the plant, let me say, can produce itself.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, good.
And we have already artificial intelligence and robots to do that.
Yeah. So, okay, at this point, maybe Jerry, you will have something to say about your project that you are developing.
Yeah.
But I would also ask Walter, our new members, what is your impression in our discussion? Are we naive? Are we talking in a very low cultural level? What do you think? I think you are used to this kind of discussions.
Yes, I'm used to these kind of
university.
discussion, and I think it's good to have this discussion. I would just encourage you to like hurry it along. Like, is this going to be 2 hours or 1 hour? I thought it was just 1 hour discussion.
Yes. In fact, we already are 1 hour and a half. Yes.
No, it's good to have discussion. I think I will learn more in future discussions and then contribute. I have some papers that I can provide you, and you look at them, okay?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
There's
Yes.
various papers and
Very
comments
welcome.
that
Very
I
welcome.
will provide, and then you decide where to put it, okay? So I will send you those tonight, so you'll have them.
And
Good.
if-
And I think we have to start also writing something, writing some requirements, and I mean to put some meat around the bones. Yeah, Werner is providing the bones, the skeleton.
I'm pretty expert in writing requirements, so I can help.
Okay,
Good, excellent. Bene.
if a list of Walter's could be circulated to us, that would be very useful, I think.
Okay, I'll be glad to provide what I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bene.
Right, you'll be pleased to hear that I don't intend to say a huge amount. Okay. As an update on my Island Zero project, first of all, have any of you, hang on, let's take off the, whoops. Let's not blur the background. Right, there we go. Do any of you know about this book, The High Frontier, an easy
Globus.
Tom Marotta and Al Globus?
Okay.
Well, I think I'm quite stupid. I've had this for a while. I only started reading it last week, and I'm pleased to say that it supports all of the Island Zero work. What it basically says is that you do not need to build an Island 1 as per the original design, at 500 meters in diameter, outer L5 with probably millions of tons of shielding. What they are looking at is equatorial low Earth orbit. And the big advantage of that is that, unlike the International Space Station, which has an orbit that's angled at 54 degrees, this just goes around over the equator, where the amount of radiation in that area is really incredibly small. And if you were to build, say, a much smaller unit, so perhaps that they're looking at just over 100 meters in diameter. If it was, I mean, it could still hold, I can't remember the initial population. I mean, it wouldn't be 10,000 as in Island 1, but you could have a lot of them and build them more easily in equatorial low Earth orbit than you could out at L5. In fact, because of the proximity to Earth and the much smaller size, you could launch the materials from the Earth. Admittedly, we do need better ground to orbit launch capability, but Starship will be quite a long way along the line for that. So it can be smaller. It won't need as much radiation shielding. Possibly, they said, no extra shielding at all. And even polythene is a good radiation shield. So lining either the interior or the exterior of the unit with polythene may be sufficient for us. And heck of a lot less material, heck of a lot cheaper. So I'm actually updating my Island Zero presentation. I mean, the design doesn't need changing out of this, but in fact there is a change to the design as well, as I've had an update with the drawings, and where I had assumed the main modules to be 15 meters long and 4.8 meters in diameter, it now looks as though, because they're being made of inflatable units rather than metal, so they'll have better radiation shielding anyway, but that they would overall be perhaps 6.5 meters in diameter. That simply means that they won't be quite as small when they're compressed, and so you won't get so many of them on a Falcon Heavy. But long term, I'm looking for them the modules and other sections to be launched on Starship anyway, where the volume of the materials isn't nearly so much an issue. So apart from that, I noticed, Adriano, on a previous one of your slides, or what one of the spreadsheets, there was an item about proposing a technical session on space habitats at the IAC conference, the conference in Milan. Now you can propose special sessions, but seems you cannot propose technical sessions, which is what I really wanted. But you may recall that I did send you an outline proposal for a technical session, which was actually based on the special session request, which had been put out by the IAF. And so I put in there what I thought that my answers might be.
But you didn't present this special session so far.
No, the first thing was to get any comments. Was there anything I'd missed out or anything? And you didn't appear to see any problem with it.
Yeah, but now I believe the deadline is very close now.
I know, but because this is already prepared, I'll only need to very, very small.
So do it. It is.
And I'll send it off. It's next week, I think, is the deadline.
Okay.
But it's pretty well all ready to go. And in the accompanying email, I will explain that I would like us to have this on the Wednesday morning. Because of my dialysis sessions, I can't stay out in Milan for too many days.
Okay.
So what I'm currently...
Unless we find a way to make your dialysis in Milan.
Aha, yes. Well, there is a possibility, and I have put in an inquiry about that. But in any case, normally I would have it Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So I could switch it to Monday, because that would still be 2 days and then 3 days, which is what I have at the moment, effectively. So if I had my dialysis Monday morning, I could fly out Monday afternoon. I'd have all of Tuesday. I'd have most of Wednesday and fly back on Wednesday. So that, one way or another, we'll be able to set that up.
Good.
And also, as I suggested, it would be nice if on the evening before our session, if the SRI could host a get-together for anyone interested in the subject. I think that would be,
yes,
it would be good for...
We can do it because I think we will have a booth
as well.
We will have a booth, so we can maybe doing in our booth.
Right, yes.
Why not?
Yes, because that will be open through the evening, won't it?
Yes.
Right. So we can bring in some drinks and have a
deadline. Dennis is writing in the chat. The deadline for special session proposal is February 9.
It is the 9th. Yes, that's right.
3 days.
Okay, I'll have this sent off tomorrow. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, good.
These be virtual drinks.
Also, I'll be mentioning that the host organization will be the SRI, which is an IAF member organization.
Yes, true.
Good.
Okay, sounds good.
Excellent. We are done, maybe. Anything else?
Oh, yes, I have one thing. I wanted to show you guys this book, The Frontiers of Propulsion Science. I just bought it. I have friends in different organizations that do research in propulsion, and that's what I am doing right now. I'm investigating advanced propulsion.
Oh, great.
I'm not ready to give a paper yet, so it'll be some time before I have anything to present.
But maybe you can give us some suggestion for our master plan.
Yeah, I can.
about propulsion systems and techniques, technologies, so when they will be maybe ready and things like that.
Okay, I can. How soon do you want that? Can I
Yeah.
have a month?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay.
No, we are not in a rush by now. So, yes,
Okay, very good.
time. Yes, good. Bene. Anything else? Alberto, Werner, Jerry?
No, I'm just looking up dates for my presentations. Let me see. I'm right. So you know
Okay.
Frank White, who runs the overview roundtable. I'm actually giving a presentation to them on Island Zero tomorrow evening. And also to the National Space Society, as I'm a candidate ambassador, and they want candidates to give a presentation to them, and I'm doing that that's been set for April. So
Okay,
yeah, April 28th, well, 28th, no, sorry, it's 29th, 30th, because it's 2 in the morning, that my time.
oh my God.
They're an American society, aren't they? So,
Yes, yes.
Yes,
they're,
I'm a member too.
oh, right, that's good. So they're meeting at
The NSS, I am a member too of the NSS, yes.
so they're meeting at 9 in the evening, their time.
Yes, and yes, we always because they are many of them are based in the West Coast on the Pacific time.
Yes.
Therefore, they prefer to meet in their afternoon, but their afternoon is our night in Europe.
Yeah.
And yes, I had to talk. Have to talk with Anita Gale and
Oh, yes,
and Carlton Johnson and
right.
yeah and Anita.
Oh,
Gale.
which reminds me, the message that I said about us doing a general get together to try and introduce new members for the SRI. And
Yeah.
I suggested some organizations. I've expanded that into a bigger list with contact names. So I'll send that
Great.
to.
However, I took your points, your bullet
Yeah.
points you sent, and I have put in the agenda for our next board meeting of.
Okay, good.
So okay, good. So well, we are almost 2 hours, so it's better to close now.
Yeah.
It was a very good productive meeting, and yeah, tomorrow I will produce a minutes of meeting and circulate it.
Okay.
And most of all, to list the action items that we have arrived today. Okay, good. Thank you, everybody, and ad astra. Bye bye.
All right.
Thank you.